There is a very sagacious advice by Death to Savitri. Savitri, you are a passionate creature, you are driven by emotion, your husband is lost, and therefore all this hue and cry. And it is not by hue and cry that you can win back his soul. You have strength, you have knowledge, you have this thing, you have that thing, etc., etc. But you don't understand the nature of things. The laws which are operating here, be calm, be steady, and then let things work out. He says, mighty art thou with the dread goddess filled. That is what he said. In the morning you worship goddess Durga and you are filled with the power and all that thing. To whom thou criest at dawn in the dim woods. You had prayed to her, and I know it. She must have definitely given something to you at that time. And therefore you are mighty. But is that might sufficiently mighty to meet the challenge of death? That is the whole problem. To whom? Use not. Therefore he says, because you are mighty, use not thy strength like a wild Titan's souls. Touch not the seated lines, the ancient laws, Respect the calm of great established thing. Respect the calm of great established thing. Follow the status quo. Observe the status quo. Status quo has its own functional utility, functional necessity also, and let things kind of happen in their natural course. Don't force the issue. You are a passionate creature, don't force the issue, you see. Respect the calm, great established thing, calm of great established thing. Now, yes, things are great, they are established things, but are they really calm? Yeah. They don't have that kind of a calm. It is a kind of inertia. Don't call inertia as calm. You want to hold on, let things go on in the way in which they are. It is a kind of an inertia, you see. It is not really calm in that sense, you see. Respect the calm of great established things. The way things are happening, let them go on, you see. Well, this is a kind of an obvious argument on part of death, and Savitri is not going to really worry about it. Who bothers about established things? The established things had to change, had to open themselves out to superior powers and superior possibilities. That is Savitri's point of view. And therefore, she did not really respect those established things, you see. She did not really respect those established things at all. But Savitri replied to the huge God. See, we have in Savitri number of adjectives for God. Mighty God, dreadful God, spacious God, all kinds of things are there. Here's a huge God. So here is the recognition of some kind of greatness which is present in this God, huge God. It also means that the hugeness of this God is something formidable for Savitri to meet. Savitri has to face something very formidable. Therefore, that hugeness of the God, something stupendous, something mighty, and that formidability has to match with her strength. But Savitri replied to the huge god, "What is the calm thou wants, O law, O death?" As I said, law is the literal translation of the word Yama, which is the name of death. Sri Aurobindo does not give a proper name to death. He simply calls death alone. You see. But Yama is the Sanskrit name for death, law. So that is the established law. That is the great established law of things. Established law of things governed by the law of death. That is the nature of the mortal creation. He is the ruler, the governor, the prime mover of the mortal world. What is called in Sanskrit Mrityu Loka. Mrityu, mortal, death, Loka, world, sphere, globe. So he is the governor of this mortal world, and that governance is by his law of Mrityu. Now, although it is Mrityu, although it is death, it is a kind of a functional necessity for the progress of this mortal world. It is because of death that the mortal world can make progress. The occult fact is, he is playing a role to promote the cause of this mortal world. What is the calm thou wants? Calm of established things. O death, is it not dull visioned, straight, inert? Okay, she is using the word inert. What is that calm after all? Inertia, dull vision of monstrous energies changed in a stark, round, soulless, and stone-eyed with mechanic dreams. Vain the soul's hope, its changeless law is all. Obviously, there cannot be any hope for soul. The purpose of the coming of the soul in this creation is not fulfilled if the law remains unchanged. If the law remains unchanged, it cannot go away. Ever to the new and unknown, press on the speeding eon, justifying God. The whole movement, yuga after yuga, eon, yuga, they are rolling on, speeding on. For what? To justify God. What it is here for. What were earth's ages is a grey restraint but never broken, and glory sprang not forth, bursting their obscure seed, while man's low life lived hurried into sudden splendid paths by divine words and human gods revealed. So there is a double effort, divine word and human effort. It is by that the sudden splendid paths have opened out and new things are happening here. So it is, if it is so, then therefore she says, impose not upon sentient minds and hearts the dull fixity that binds inanimate things. What you are calm is nothing but the law of inertia. Don't impose law of inertia on this creation. Binds inanimate things. As far as inanimate things are concerned, they are governed by the law of inertia. In fact, that is the entire basis of Newton's law of motion, the very first law. A body continues to be in a given state of motion until and unless an external force acts upon it. That is the law of inertia enunciated by Newton. A body continues to be in a given state of motion until and unless an external force acts upon it. Well, this will remain as it is unless some external force acts upon it. Body will continue to move on endlessly, like the planets or whatever you call it, unless an external force acts upon it. In whatever state of motion it is, it will continue to remain in that state of motion. And therefore, it is called the law of inertia. Now, the law of inertia by itself, therefore, defines what is a force. A body continues to be in a given state of motion until and unless an external force acts upon it. So the external force, what does it do? It changes the state of motion. It changes the status quo. It brings something new. That is what it means basically. So the law of inertia also defines what a force is. A force is something which will change the state of inertia. You see, it is already inbuilt into that thing, you see. Imposed upon sentient minds and the dull fixity that binds inanimate things. There is a force acting on that, and that is bound to change things. Well, it is the unconscious rule for the animal breeds, content to live beneath the immutable yoke. Man turns to a nobler walk, a master path. He is, to some extent, free of the law of inertia. There is some force which was from within or from above or from outside in him which can change the law of inertia. A master path. I trample on the law with living feet. For to rise in freedom, I was born. To rise in freedom, I was born. So that is the entire biographical note of Savitri's existence of life. She has come into existence here. She is born to rise in freedom, to throw away the law of inertia, not to be governed by the fixity of things here. If I am mighty, let my force be unveiled, equal companion to the dateless power, or else let my frustrated soul sink down unworthy of Godhead in the original sleep. Unworthy of Godhead in the original sleep. So she is risking. If my strength is not enough, let me sink down. But I cannot stop. Whether I will be able to match against the fixed laws or not is a different matter. But my first purpose, my first concern is to deal with the laws of fixity. Or else let my frustrated soul sink down unworthy of Godhead in the original sleep. I will go back and sleep there in the superconscious. That's the original sleep. When she was there always, you see. I claim from time a will's eternity, God from his moments. Well, that is her claim, obviously, to claim eternity in time. God from his moment. He has lived here in the transience. I want to claim him back for eternity. Death replied to her, why should a noble and immortal will stoop to the petty words of transient earth, freedom forgotten and eternal path? Well, there is a bit of a sophistry. He is giving a little fine point there, see. Death replied to her, why should a noble and immortal will? What is the purpose? You are so great, so mighty, etc., etc. Why you are worried about transient things? In what way is it going to be of any help or consequence to you at all, you see? Transient things, you see. But Savitri's whole point is, in the transience also there is eternity. It is not that the moment is passing, therefore there is no eternity in that moment. It is present everywhere, at every instant, you see. It is always there. Freedom forgotten and eternal path. Or is this the high use of strength and thought to struggle with the bonds of death and time and spend the labor that might earn the gods and battle and bear agony of wound to grasp the trivial joys that earth can guard in a small treasure chest of passing things. So basically he says that it is a high use. You are a great person. You are showing off yourself in all these actions. All these small little things, why you are worried about that? You are so great. You are showing off unnecessarily yourself, your high strength, you are showing off in a small matter. Is that worthy of you? All these are small, feeble, passing, transient things, and you want to show something of that here. Is it worthy of you at all? True is. And battle and bear agony of wound to grant the trivial joys that earth can guard in a small treasure chest of passing things. Child, hast thou trodden the gods beneath thy feet, only to win poor shreds of earthly life? For him thou lovest, cancelling the grand release, giving from early rapture of the heaven his soul, the lenient deities I call. So you are a baby, you are an infant, you are a child. You are talking about big things, you see. You are a child. He is talking fatherly to her now. My dear girl, my dear child, my dear daughter, this is not worthy of you at all, you see. The show of high strength is not worthy of you at all, you see. Are thy arms sweeter than the course of God? Do you think that by embracing your lover in your arms, he'll be more happy than in the course of God? Do you think that at all, you see? She answered, I straight trampled on the road, a strong hand hewed for me, which planned our paths. I don't care of what you're talking. My one concern is, this is the path which has been made for me by somebody who is very strong, who is great. And I will follow that path. I trampled on the road, a strong hand hewed for me. Some divine hand has made this road for me, he has planned this road for me, and I am going to follow on that road. I don't care about other things. If I had to trample in that process something, I would trample them, you see. I run where his sweet, dreadful voice commands. He is, of course, Satyavan, of God also. What does he say? No, no, okay. Love. Yeah.
No, he said listen. But the line after, it's obviously it's God.
Yeah, it is a straight trample on the road, strong hand, strong hand, that is God, which is His.
Yeah. She's answering on 35.
Which is,
36.
yeah. Strong hand is personified as He. Strong hand.
Yeah.
The one who has strong hand, it is He His sweet, dreadful voice commands. And I am driven with the reins of God. So it is He who has put the reins on me, and I am driven by Him. Why drew He wide His scheme of mighty world, or filled infinity with His passionate breath? It must have been with some purpose, and I am carrying that passionate purpose in my life, in my breath, in my pursuit, you see. Or wherefrom did He build my mortal form, and sow in me His bright and proud desire, if not to achieve, to flower in me, to love, carving His human image richly saved in thoughts and largesses and golden powers. Obviously, this He, with this description, would certainly mean God, and not Satyavan. Wherefrom did He build my mortal form? Satyavan didn't build her mortal form. It is He. She also says that, look, before He built my mortal form, I was immortal. I was immortal, you see. Before He built this mortal form, I was immortal. For a certain purpose, because of His desire, command, because of His insistence, I have taken a mortal birth. I have condescended to pass the portals of the birth, that is a death. I have agreed to pass the portals of the birth, that is a death. He wanted me to pass the portals of the birth. He built that form for me, and I agreed to go through that form. This is from what we got in that little book, The Mother. She condescended to pass the portals of the birth, that is a death. And so in me His bright and proud desire, His bright and proud desire. Although this is a mortal form, there is the possibility of bright and proud desires appearing here. Therefore I agreed to come here. If not to achieve, to flower in me, to love, carving His human image richly shaped in thoughts and largesses and golden power. Far heaven can wait our coming in His calm. Our coming. Here it means Satyavan and Savitri. Our coming. Far heaven can wait our coming in His calm. Why should they wait? Because they have work to do on earth. Unless that work is done on earth, they would not go back to heaven. Of course, you can ask the question, if their work on earth is done, would they go back to heaven?
No, it will be heaven on earth.
Of course, obviously, that is the work done. That is the work done, you see. That is the work done. That is the work done, you see. So there is no question of that. See, whatever you want, in fact, rather they would prefer to be on earth than in heaven. When the work of heaven is done on earth, they would prefer to be on earth than in heaven, obviously. Because heaven is a frozen thing. It does not grow, it does not expand, it does not progress. Whereas in earth, there is a constant progress. So it is a greater joy than to be on earth. Far heaven can wait our coming in His calm. Easy the heavens were to build for God. It is true. See the enormous struggle which is going on to build earth. To build heaven is an easy job. You create gods, all that thing, they will take care of everything, you see. Then you have got apsaras, you have got music, you have got songs, you have got all those things all the while, you see. Easy the heavens are to build for God. It is true. You may. In fact, the most difficult thing is for God to cut himself from himself. That is the most difficult thing. It is only by cutting himself from himself that the whole thing starts. What the mother says, the separation of the four powers, they have cut themselves from God. That is the most difficult thing. And then other things. So once that difficult thing is achieved, then other things roll out. Gods cannot cut themselves from God. But these four asuras, they did cut themselves from God. That is the most difficult, most occult element in the entire process. How it happened, in what manner it happened, nobody knows it. Nobody can know it. Because nobody was there at that time to see what has happened. Ye see, the heaven were to build for God. Earth was a difficult matter. Earth, the glory gave the problem and the race and strife. There are the ominous mass, the terrible powers. They are the greatness to create the God, in this ominous creation to create God. That is the most difficult thing. Is it not the spirit immortal and absolved always, delivered from the grasp of time? Yes, it is. Spirit is free of time. Why came it down into the mortal space? Why came it down in the mortal space? Why? We have seen this thing in a different context. Why came it down into the mortal space? When Narad is explaining the dilemma of this creation to Savitri's mother, she says, "Is this your God who has created this miserable world?" And then he says, "Madam, it's not like that. You don't understand it. You became curious of the shadow of truth in the abyss. In the darkness, in the abyss, you became curious. The shadow of the truth was there. You became curious of that shadow of truth and you jumped into it to see what is there behind that curiosity. It was your choice." 111.4. This is what Narada is telling to Savitri's mother. He says, "You are complaining of death and fate, but accuse none of the harm thyself has caused." You have invited the trouble. Don't accuse God or somebody else. You have invited the whole thing. This trouble were thou hast chosen for thy home. Thou art thyself the author of thy pain. You are the author of your own pain. Don't blame God. And then he justifies by saying, once in the immortal boundlessness of the self, you are there very happy in the transcendent, in the boundless self, in a vast of truth and consciousness and light in Satchidananda. You are happy there once. The soul looked out from its felicity. You are in Satchidananda, you looked out from felicity. It felt the Spirit's interminable bliss. Spirit's bliss is there everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. Where is it that it does not exist? It knew itself deathless, timeless, spaceless, one. It saw the eternal, lived in the infinite. It, the soul. Then, curious of a shadow thrown by truth, it strained towards some otherness of self. It was drawn to an unknown face, peering through night. It became curious of what is there and started looking. It sensed a negative infinity, a void supernal whose immense excess, imitating God and everlasting time, offered a ground for nature's adverse birth. Nature's adverse birth, a ground for that is offered by it. And matter's rigid heart and consciousness, harboring the brilliance of a transient soul, harboring the brilliance of a transient soul, brilliance of a transient soul, ego, surface personality. That lies of birth and death and ignorant life. You became curious of it. You have come down here. Same thing we have got here also. Easy the heavens were to build for God. Earth was a difficult matter. Is it not the spirit immortal and absolved, always delivered from the grasp of time, that came down into the mortal space? Why it came down into the mortal space? Because it became curious of things for a purpose. And wrote a hidden decree on nature's tops. Freedom is this with ever-seated soul, large in life's limit, strong in matter's knots, building great stuff of action from the world, to make fine wisdom from coarse scattered strands. So why all this travel, why this long path, etc., etc.? The purpose is here. The purpose is to make fine wisdom from coarse scattered strands. Out of this ignorance to bring out knowledge. And love and beauty out of war and night, to wage a wonderful game divine, to play the game divine, to make something out of it, out of the opposite, the divine. It is for that purpose I come here. What liberty has the soul which feels not free unless stripped bare and cannot be bound? The lover winds around his playmate's limb, choosing his tyranny, crushing in his embrace. To seize him better with a boundless heart, she accepts the limiting circle of his arms, bows full of bliss beneath his mastering hand, and laughs in his rich constraint, most bound, most free. That is the whole play. She prefers to be bound. In that getting bound, she is most free. By becoming the slave, she becomes the master. By surrender, she becomes the Lord. This is my answer to thy lures, O death. Actually, what it means is that Savitri follows only what his sweet, dreadful voice commands. Heavens were easy for God to build. His difficult matter is earth. Why did the Spirit come down into the mortal space? By binding himself into mortality, he becomes most free. He becomes most free. This is my answer to the allure. Now we come to another big section. Immutable death denial met her cry. She has asserted herself, but death is going to make his answer deny, negative what she has been asserting. Now here of course it is not immutable deaths, it is immutable death denial. You see? Yeah, this is important. Immutable. He is always immutable. After all, he is an immortal. Death denial met her cry, which also means that there is in his denial an immutability. It cannot be changed. It is permanently there. That is his very character, as his very nature. Immutable denial is there. However mighty, whatever the secret name uttered in hidden conclaves of the gods, thy heart's ephemeral passion cannot break the iron rampart of accomplished things with which the great gods fence their camp in space. Conclaves, a secret gathering of people, confidential meeting of the inner group of people, you see. Assemblies or gatherings of those who have special authority. People who have special authority, they are coming together, that is conclave. Power, influence, they met together. The inner group, and they decide things of that. Hidden conclaves of the gods. However mighty, whatever thy secret name uttered in hidden conclaves of the gods. He knows that there is something in her name which is respected by the gods in their conclaves. He knows that, you see. When the gods meet privately, when there is an issue to be resolved and all that, when they gather all together, they certainly remember the name of Savitri. She is the one who will do things. You see. She is the one who will do the things.
Oh, has he heard that? Listen.
Yeah. he hears it, he knows it. You see. However mighty, whatever the secret name uttered in hidden conclave, uttered, when you utter the word Savitri, all calamities, all obstacles, all difficulties disappear. That is the power of the name, Savitri. When Satyavan is about to die, he says, Savitri, Savitri, oh Savitri, lean down my soul and kiss me while I die. He knows that it is the power of Savitri which will hold him back from our difficulty. He uttered the word Savitri 3 times. Savitri, Savitri, oh Savitri. All the 3 lokas are covered by that one name. All the 3 lokas, all the 3 worlds, 3 realms, they will pervade the entire creation. Therefore, 3 times Savitri. Of course, that is the occult part of it. Metrically, Savitri, Savitri, oh Savitri. Metrically, there are 10 syllables. It is a pentametric line. Savitri, Savitri. Oh, Savitri. You see? That is the meter, you see. Metrically. But the occult is 3 words are covered by one name. And when she is covering the whole world like that, whole universe like that, then there is complete protection there. Nothing can defeat that. And therefore, when the gods meet in their conclaves, they utter the name Savitri. Perhaps the difference is Satyavan will say 3 times Savitri, Savitri, Savitri. Gods will say only once Savitri. See, gods will say only once. Thy heart's ephemeral passion cannot break the iron ramparts of accomplished things. Well, that is his assertion again, with which the great gods fence their camp in space. Now, there are 2 types of gods. Hidden conclaves of the gods and great gods. Here, G is capital. Here, G is small. Does it make a distinction there? No? He makes small g, capital G? Good. Yeah. These great gods are protecting their realm, their region, their whatever camps, etc., in space because of the things which have been accomplished. Accomplished things are forming a rampart, and it is in them that they are protecting themselves. The smaller gods, they will meet and talk and utter the name of Savitri. These great gods perhaps need not utter the name Savitri.
Not at the same level.
Because they are established by the accomplished things. They are protected by the accomplished things. You see. The laws of truth which have been established, which are in operation, it is according to those laws of truth, they govern things and they are happy, they are protected by them. They don't have to do anything else. But the smaller gods, hidden conclaves of the gods, the smaller gods, they are not protected in that manner.
Which means that the great gods protect ignorance.
No.
Or maintain ignorance.
That cannot be.
You see, the bigger gods don't need to protect themselves her secret name. They don't need her secret names.
Or because they live in their own law.
The bigger gods,
The
the
bigger gods.
transcendental gods.
They don't need earth
No,
anyway.
but the overmind gods, they do.
The overmind.
Yeah,
Ah,
they do. Because these bigger gods, larger gods, they are protected by the laws of truth. By the mechanism of truth themselves, they are protected. Rhythm. Yeah. Whoever thou art behind thy human mask, even if thou art the mother of the worlds and takes thy claim upon the realms of chance, the cosmic law is greater than thy will. You may be mighty, mother, whatever. But as long as the cosmic, the universal law is concerned, you cannot do anything at all with that. The cosmic law is greater than thy will. Even God Himself obeys the laws He made. Well, obviously, He has formatted the rules of the game. He is not going to change the rules of the game in the middle. He will follow, he will observe the rules of the game, you see. Even God Himself obeys the laws He made. The law abides and never can it change. The person is a bubble in time's sea. a forerunner of a greater truth to come. Thy soul, creator of its freer law, wanting a force behind on which it leaned, a light above which none but thou hast seen. Thou claimed first fruits of truth's victory. Wanting, you are proud of it, you are asserting, you are showing off your force here, behind on which it leaned, a light above which none but thou hast seen. Nobody has seen, you see the scene, and you are wanting with that. But what is truth? And who can find her form amid the specious images of sense, the deceptive images formed by sense? Who can find behind these images truth? Amid the specious images of sense, amid the crowding guesses of the mind and the dark ambiguities of world, people, with the incertitudes of thought. You are a mental creature. You are governed by sense, by mind, by thought. There is incertitude always. And behind these deceptive images, you want to find truth. Come on, you are talking something not very reasonable, you see. Incertitude of thought. Thought, ambiguities of world, incertitude. See, he has used all these things again, you see. Guesses, ambiguities, incertitudes, see, of thought. For where is truth? And when was her footfall heard? Her stands for truth. Truth is feminine. La verite. For where is truth? And when was her footfall heard amid the endless clamor of time's mark? Nobody hears in the market truth, in the bazaar, in the parliament, in the political field.
Exactly.
Who knows truth, you see? Nobody knows. Time smart, and which is a voice amid a thousand cries that cross the listening brain and cheat the soul. She cannot. It's true. What he says is true also, you see. Or is truth aught but a high starry name? Is it only a name? Or a vague and splendid word by which man's thought sanctions and consecrates his nature's choice? The heart's wish donning knowledge as its robe, the cherished idea elect among the elect, thought's favorite made the children of half light, who high-voiced crowd the playgrounds of the mind, or people his dormitories in infant sleep. Now there is a big thing here he's making. You are boasting of all that thing. But where is truth after all? That is the whole thing. Truth is only a starry name, and you are boasting of the starry name, etc., etc. Vague. See, while he says, he says same thing. Spacious images, guesses, ambiguities, incertitudes. Behind that, where is truth? You see, this whole idea. You see, if it is not there, it means that it is your imagination. You are giving some kind of a name for that, you see. All things hang here between God's yes and no. This is the most difficult line. All things hang here between God's yes and no. Well, you have got the first two chapters to explain this line in the Life Divine. The ascetic and the materialist, yes and no. Only matter, only spirit, you see.
What is the no of
Pardon me?
What is the know of God? When he said
There is no God here. Materialist says it's all from matter. Whatever has come up from matter. There is no God.
of God. He said the yes and the no of God.
Huh?
So what is the no of God? Between the yes of God and between the no of
Of
God.
God.
That's what he
Yes,
means, no?
yes.
So what is the no of God?
No, that is matter. That God is not
Ah,
there.
the matter, it's
Yeah.
the no of God.
Yeah. Huh.
Oh.
We could also say duality.
Yes.
Very
In fact, he says here, two powers real, but to each other untrue. Two powers real, but to each other. Where is matter, there is no spirit. Where there is spirit, there is no matter. Yeah. Or your Cartesian dichotomy, mind and matter. Yeah. It is basically referring to the Cartesian dichotomy. And both of them are stars, two consort stars in the moon night of mind. See, they are only in the night, in the mind, not otherwise, you see, in the mind of night. That towards two opposite horizons gaze, one from this end, from the other from the other end, you see. The white head and black tail of the mystic drake, the swift and the lame foot, wing strong, wing broken, sustaining the body of the uncertain world, a great surreal dragon in the skies. It's a very powerful description. Most occult. Most occult. Mystic drake, see, with a white head and black tail. White head, superconscious if you want to call it. Black tail, the inconscious. Mystic drake, the swift and lame foot. The swift, the superconscious. Lame foot, limping, moving slowly. Wing strong, wing broken. Sustaining the body of the uncertain world. By these two, the whole world's creation is made. A great surreal dragon in the skies.
But the dragon is the night of mind.
Yeah.
That's actually him.
That is the night of mind, the moon night of mind.
The inconscience.
Yeah, well, mentally.
Inconscience.
No, mind is not in conscience. See, consort stars in the moon night of mind.
The dragon is inconscience.
Night of mind. Mind itself is a product of ignorance, of darkness. It is which is moon by night, by mind, and in that night you see the two stars, one here, one there. It is mind which is saying something here and something there.
All in the night.
Yeah. Well, there is a fairly long discussion about that in this book. You see, you can read that thing. The moon night of mind. I will try to. I will send that passage also. Yeah. The white head and black tail of the mystic drake. See, this is the most original description. See how the true surrealist poetry can be. We have got the best example here of surrealism, you see. The best example of surrealism, you see. The white head and black tail of the mystic drake, that line summarizes the whole thing, you see. Sustaining the body of the uncertain world, a great surreal dragon in the sky. Too dangerously thy high proud truth must live. entangled in matters mortal littleness. So this man has read a lot of French poetry, you see, surrealism and all that. Actually, surrealist poetry has come mostly more from the surrealistic painting of the French peoples. There is not much poetry in French, but painting, of course.
Not much poetry in French. Don't say everything because no, he said there's not much poetry in French.
It's true. It's true. There's not much poetry. See, you just
In France or in the French?
in French, very little poetry.
In France?
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of poetry.
See, you imagine the kind of struggle which Mallarmé had to face in writing his poetry. It was so easy in English, but in French he had to really struggle. Mallarmé had to really struggle to write poetry.
I think Mallarmé's poetry is very special, no?
Yeah, very special, you see. After Mallarmé, then started coming out surrealistic paintings. A great surreal dragon in the sky, too dangerously thy high proud truth must live. Thy high proud truth. Too dangerously because of these two things hang between God, yes and no. Entangled in matters mortal littleness. All in this world is true, yet all is false. Yeah. Its thoughts into an eternal cipher run. Its deeds swell to time's rounded zero sum. So all this sum, you take everything together and finally what happens? Zero.
Nothing.
Zero. In words, you have as many positives as negatives, as many yeses, as many no's. When you sum them all together, what happens? Zero.
Only death remains.
All the negatives and all the positives added together, they become zero.
That's his vision.
Yeah.
Only.
All in this world is true, yet all is false. Its thoughts into an eternal cipher run. Very dense poetry, you see. Its deeds swell to time rounded zero sum. Thus, man at once is animal and God. So, don't be very proud, you see. But don't also lose hope. Don't be proud because you're an animal. Don't lose hope because you're God also. A disparate enigma of God's made.
Ah, that's it.
Yeah, you see, that is what makes it disparate, you see. Disparate enigma. Disparate, dissimilar. 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 Disparate, something which is opposite to each other, contradictory. Because you are at once animal and God. You are at once made of yes and no. Unable to free the goddess form within, a being less than himself, yes, something more. That is the disparateness of man. The aspiring animal, the frustrated God. See, yeah, Shabda enjoys it. He enjoys it. Yeah. The aspiring animal, the frustrated God, yet neither beast nor deity, but man. He is the bridge between God and man. But man, tied to the kind, earth's labor tries to exceed, climbing the stairs of God to higher things. Now, you have to be a little careful about reading this line. But man, tied to the kind, earth's labors tries to exceed. Man tied to his own as a species, he is trying to exceed the labor of earth. Kind, to the kind, mean to as a species, as a mental being, he is tied to that. And he wants to exceed his mental beingness. Now don't read this like that. But man tied to the kind earth's labor. This kind is to be read with the first part of this phrase, not with kind earth's labor.
No, it doesn't. First labor is not kind.
See, but man tied to the kind earth's labor tries to exceed. Earth is not kind, you see. This kind here stands for species, not for its quality. But man, you see, Shivandu is really very, as an artist, he exploits every situation like that, you see. Now, this kind of a thing does not appear in French poetry.
Yeah, but in French, it's more, this sentence, for example, in French, it's more explicit.
Yeah, but that is exactly what spoils the poetry.
Yeah, but in English, you cannot.
No, in English, that charm is there, that purposeful charm is there.
Yes, more subtle, yeah, but
In French, it is specific, kind.
Specific, yes.
So that is not, so that takes away the poetry.
yeah. No, the poetry. I'm not speaking about the poetry because
Meaning wise, I understand.
anyway, when you translate from English to French, it's very difficult to make a poetry.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, it's,
Because you have to keep the meaning and make the poetry.
what does he say for kind, species?
But this line in French, I understood immediately what you said. In French.
Species?
Yes. Because
Species.
he said, look, I will tell you. I was before the element. Okay. Mais homme lié à l'espèce que le labeur de la terre s'efforce de dépasser. It's like if he put man tied to the kind which earth labors.
So you see, that remove the poetry. You see. Okay, yeah. Meaning wise, yeah.
But the meaning is immediately
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah.
Here
Yeah.
you can.
You can play, and see, it's necessary because of rhythm. It means that you have to bother about the rhythm. But man tied to the kind, earth's labor strives to exceed. Yeah, it has one rhythm. The other one, but man tied to the kind earth's labor. The rhythm is different, movement is different. Strives to exceed, climbing the stairs of God to higher things. Okay. Objects are seemings, and none know their truth. Ideas are guesses of an ignorant God. So poor God. See? Now, of course, here ignorant God is metaphorically stands for man. Metaphorically stands for man. You see. Ideas are guesses of an ignorant God. Truth has no home in Earth's irrational breast. It is absolutely true. It cannot have a home when there is that irrationality. Yet without reason, life is a tangled of dreams. But reason is poised above a dim abyss and stands at last upon a plank of doubt. This is actually what death has read of Descartes. You keep on doubting everything. Ultimately, you land and go where, you see. You see. That is the Cartesian philosophy. Reason is poised above a dim abyss and stands at last upon a plank of doubt. Plank of doubt, that is Cartesian, absolutely. Eternal truth lives not with mortal men. It is very true. Eternal truth lives not with mortal men. There is no doubt about that. But there is a doubt, Monsieur Morte. Eternal truth lives not is true. But does it mean that eternal truth will never live with mortal men? See, he is a little careful. Lives not. He doesn't say will never live with mortal men. You see. Eternal truth never lives with mortal men. He is not saying that. Eternal truth lives not with mortal men. Or if she dwells not within thy mortal heart, show me the body of the living truth to draw for me the outline of her face, that I too may obey and worship her. Or if she dwells, she, of course, truth. If truth dwells not within thy mortal heart, show me the body of the living. If that truth does not exist in your mortal heart, then show me her living body. Where it is, show me that. It is not here, all right. Because I have said that truth does not live in mortal men. If truth does not live in mortal men, it is meaning that you are a mortal, it is not living here. If it is not living here, then show me where it is. That is the whole argument. Or if dwells not within thy mortal heart, show me the body of the living truth, or draw for me the outline of her face, that I too may obey and worship her. You make an image, you make a sketch, you make a painting, or whatever you want to call it, so that I will go and offer her flowers, put incense sticks around her, and worship her and all that, you see. Show me that. Now, it's so beautiful, this whole thing, you know. But there is a shocking thing.
Challenges her now.
There is a shocking thing. Eternal truth lives not with mortal men. That is perfectly correct. You are a mortal being, therefore the eternal truth cannot live in your heart. That I understand. But you are talking of truth and all that. Show me her face. Draw me a sketch so that I can go and worship her. I am not able to. That's the whole meaning of it. Now, what these great people have done is they have removed not in the revised edition.
They have removed not.
Yes. From
Oh, really? This is changing the whole. It's changing the whole
it's not there.
Yes. Even there.
It's not there. Ilyapala. Or if she dwells within thy mortal heart, I don't understand then where is the question of drawing a figure? If she dwells within thy mortal heart, show me the body of the living truth. It's ridiculous then, you know.
No. Yes, no. Because if you also, when you say if she dwells not, it means if she is not here, show me the body. If
Yeah.
she's not here, it's true, she cannot show me.
If she is not there, I can't see, but you can draw a sketch for me. But if she is within you, do the question of drawing a sketch for me.
No, I didn't understand what you said.
If
She can draw if it's here, if she has the clue and
Within you?
she can draw it, she can show it.
Yeah, show me, that's all. Show me is all right. Show me the body of living truth.
Yes.
See,
If
body
she
of
will.
living, no, then it will be simply show me her.
Now, I'm thinking about only the not.
Yeah, not. So forget about not for a minute now.
You at least said forget the not.
In the revised edition, that not does not exist.
Yeah.
So, if she is not within the mortal, if she is within the mortal heart, it means that show me the body of the living truth. Now that becomes a little curious kind of a statement.
Because then it is automatically there.
Yeah. It becomes a curious statement, you see.
Yes, curious.
You simply say, show me her, reveal me to her.
Exactly. Put off your mask and show me.
Yeah. If she is already with you, okay, expose me. Let me have a look at her.
Yes. So that I can worship her.
I can. There is no question of you making a drawing for me.
No.
This is the mystery of the revised edition.
Why did they remove it?
There is absolutely no reason given for that.
Huh.
No. Anywhere.
The word or. That's why.
The most curious thing.
2 times or it should say. Or.
Or if she eternal truth lives not, because of that or, they are saying that not is wrong.
Exactly, that cannot be.
Yeah, because that or, that you see, this is combined with this.
Yeah, eternal truth that's not.
That or would make this not little wrong,
No.
according to them. But this is a different statement altogether.
But they cannot change the window.
See, there is absolutely no reason, no ground given why not has been removed. I can only tell you one more thing, that in this not is present in the first edition of Savitri, 1951. It is also present in 1954, the University edition of Savitri, the second edition of Savitri. Not is present. But in the centenary edition, Mr. Amal Kiran has removed that not. According to his understanding, he has removed that not. The revised edition has stuck to what Amal has done in 1970 in the centenary edition. The revised. But then they should have really gone back to the original edition and checked with that. Not go by what is there in 1970.
Exactly. How can he dare to do this?
See, because of his understanding, he has removed not. Because that or is there, or can give you little puzzle, you see. Make it little puzzling. Or if she dwells not within thy mortal, or if she dwells within thy mortal heart. See, this or will not allow this not.
That's what he thinks.
There's some logic in it.
No?
No.
I understand also without.
Yeah, but then,
now, let me please explain.
okay.
The 14 line, the
Yeah.
14, he is asserting
Yeah.
to Savitri
Yeah.
that the truth cannot be in the mortal man.
Yeah,
And after, he wants to prove her.
yeah,
And he said that the truth cannot live in the mortal man.
yeah,
So after he said, oh, if it's here,
yeah.
show me the
Yeah,
Bible.
exactly. See,
This is what he understood.
see,
about
as far as this thing is concerned, this sentence is concerned, there is a kind of a universality.
universality. Okay.
This sentence has a kind of a universality. This sentence does not have that universality. It is there is a specificity about Savitri. If she is with you, that if takes away that universality. So you can't really combine this not and this or and knock off this not.
And he shuts it all together.
Yeah. Well, you ponder on that. Eternal truth lives not with mortal man is perfectly universal statement. It is valid or not. I said eternal truth lives not with mortal man is a fact of life as it exists. It does not mean that eternal truth will never live in mortal man, which is another statement. But then, in a way, death has considered victory to Savitri, that if that mortal, if she can show him, see again there is a difference here. Eternal truth, T. Living truth, T. There are differences. You can't really combine them together. You can't combine them together, you see. You can't combine this truth with this truth, and therefore not this, or not this, or. That different statements altogether, they have to be taken independently. In fact, this not is most pertinent when you see, okay, if she is not there with you, draw a figure for me and I will show and I will worship her. I will do puja or whatever. By saying so, death has considered kind of victory to Savitri. He has considered kind of victory. But at the same time, it is a strategic move on his part. He is certain that she cannot show. Therefore, he is safe. She cannot show that, therefore he is safe, and therefore there is no question of giving back the soul of Satyavan to Savitri. Then will I give thee back thy Satyavan. He has not taken any risk in this way. See? You see, he has not taken any chance at all, any risk at all, you see. He is very tight in his argument. Then will I give thee back Satyavan, but here are only facts and still bound law. This truth I know, that Satyavan is dead, and even the sweetness cannot lure him back, etc., etc. Now, you see. No magic truth can bring the dead to life. No power of earth cancel the thing once done. No joy of the heart can last surviving death. No bliss persuade the past to live again. No magic, no power, no joy, no bliss. Sorry, you go back without Satyavan. He is safe. Because you cannot show me the face the truth. But life alone can solace the mute void and fill with thought the emptiness of time. Live then the dead, O Savitri, and live. Now this line is also very difficult. But life alone can solace the mute void. No truth, no joy, no power, no bliss. But life alone can solace it. It is in contrast with that. No truth, no joy, no power, no bliss. But life alone can give consolation to void. Be there. Because it's there. Because it's there. Live then, therefore, live then the dead. Go back now, O Savitri, and live. Your time has not come, it will come one day.